Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Ceres in the 10th house in a natal chart. Now, Ceres in astrology, it can be connected with how one may nurture and care, and also how one may desire to be nurtured and cared for. We're talking about houses, though, now. And basically, it's going to be more like we're talking about the sectors of life where this energy can be injected into. Now, given this is the 10th house, this could be a person that strongly nurtures and cares for the dominant parent, which is often the father. Their authority figures. This could be somebody that really is, really appeasing people in authority. Their supervisors, doing what they can for them. Say if this is in Libra, it could be really about people appeasing energy, which could include authority figures, and also in matters in general with their career and their reputation. This could be a person that very strongly cares for their reputation. And say if this is like in Scorpio, it could be a person that's very guarded regarding maybe things that they may have done that might be seen as unsavory, or if there was something, even if this person was some chance they were involved in some criminal activity, it could be a person that could be very suspicious as far as that goes, and takes all measures not to have that information released or divulged to others. It could also be a person that strongly nurtures and cares about their public image. If they're involved in a business, it could be something pertaining to their business, and also as far as things that are political. If they have somebody, a political figure, they're enamored with, this could be somebody that might put a lot of posts up about them and try to promote the person as an example. So anyway. Well, Ceres in astrology can also be connected with depleted or dissipated self-worth or self-esteem. Now, given that we're talking about the 10th house, it could be in some situation that might involve a dominant parent or an authority figure. If it's an Aries, say, it could be something of a very, maybe contentious or even acrimonious nature. Even if it's conjunct Mars, it could be over where one is in one's career, their stature in life, or their social status. It could be in terms of the success that they have attained, or at least tried to have attained in their life. So those are some ways that can manifest and pan out. Now, Ceres in astrology can also be associated with eating issues, and we're talking about, the 10th house. This could be something that might be tied in some cases, if this person happens to be famous or has notoriety or recognition on some level, it may be tied into that. It could be over career-related matters. If this person is very despondent, for example, or feeling melancholy, or they're depriving themselves of food as a result, not getting their nourishment. In some isolated cases, it could manifest in some eating issues. Let's say, 10th house is also about one's social status, so it could be somehow tied in to that as well. Sadly, it could be a lack of, in terms of their social status, how they stack up with other people, the person's stature in life. It could be over issues with authority, or some kind of, or maybe the dominant parent, which is often the father. In some cases, it could be something connected with one's reputation or public image. If the person was vilified, say if this was in Pisces, it could be due to fallacious statements about the person, where this person, maybe succumbs to some kind of depression, or stops eating, or binges on eating in order to distract themselves from the negative, that is negative events that are transpiring in connection with one's public image or reputation. Ceres in astrology can also be associated with raising children. Now, if you are a parent, you are raising children, you may very well encourage them to be very successful, to be very career oriented, to attain a certain stature in life, perhaps even a position of authority, be in a position where you're not subservient or don't have to answer to anybody. It could even be like an entrepreneur or some kind of businessman. This could be also too where you may raise your children accordingly to be very politically oriented, or to be even involved in the government in some capacity, and also about really caring about their reputation, their public image, and how they are seen, outside. I mean, in their career, related matters as well. And also, too, it could be where older people might figure prominently in the raising of the children. You might get help, like say from your own parents in some isolated cases, and also about encouraging your children to attain their ambitions. And say if this is in Taurus as an example, it may be done with a lot of persistence, patience, and perseverance as well. Now, Ceres in astrology can also be connected with being taken forcibly against one's will, or being coerced against one's will to go somewhere that the person does not want to go. And in other words, it can be associated with kidnappings and abductions. Now, given that this is the 10th house, in some cases it might be tied in. Maybe it's somebody that you were connected with in business, or it may be by some business or business structure. It could be maybe tied into one's political objectives, or maybe it's by a political venue or some government building. It could also be in some cases done maybe by an older person. I mean, the 10th house in astrology does correspond with the zodiac sign Capricorn, so it might be through an older person. And this could also be one, sadly, that might be somewhat prolific or gain some notoriety for all the wrong reasons, basically. But again, abductions are very isolated and remote, and these are just, as examples, if by some remote chance this was to transpire anyway. Well, Ceres in astrology can also be associated with family connections. And given that we're talking about the 10th house, it could be one that might be very businesslike, very serious, very career dominated. It might be where the people in your family, you might have felt that they were very dominated and engrossed in their careers and trying to attain a certain stature in life and gain some kind of status and recognition. You might have felt some of them might have been practically oblivious to you, or they just weren't around enough because they were so engrossed in their career related matters. It could be where the people, or at least one or more people in the family, might have been very authoritative. It could be where they might be very achievement oriented and concerned about their accomplishments in their life as well. So, and say if this is in Capricorn, it could even give a more colder and callous, even some undemonstrative energy in some cases as well. But at the same time, say if this is in Pisces, this could actually modify this energy a little, and maybe people might be a little bit more, self-sacrificing than otherwise indicated. So anyway, Ceres in astrology can also be connected with dejection, sorrow, and disappointment. And since we're talking about the 10th house, it could be in some cases tied into one's career objectives or aims, whether it was not attaining what they wanted, or maybe it was maybe some difficulties with the people that are prominent in one's career. It could be in issues where you're talking about the 10th house, and the 10th house can reflect what one may not be able to hide or suppress, that people can see very outwardly, similarly to the ascendant. But this is like more about your public life. And the thing about it is the 4th house is more about how we may act when nobody's around. But when the 10th house is where a lot of people may be around, and the point being, there could be something connected with you that maybe you can't suppress or hide from others, that might lead to some great dejection, sorrow, disappointment. Say if this is an Aquarius, it might be some eccentric or peculiar nature that you might be expressing, and in people, and maybe you're being chastised for it. It could even be, again, connected with one's stature in life, their social status. It could be something tied in with one's reputation or their public image as well. So anyway, well, Ceres in astrology can also be associated with protection and protective energy. And since we're talking about the 10th house, this could be a person that might be very guarded and really about their reputation and their public image and how they're seen by others. It could be a person too, as far as their career related matters. Say if you have this in a sign like Taurus, that could be very industrious. hardworking. It could be somebody that just simply continues to work hard in one's career-related matters with a lot of persistent effort in order to maintain that career. This could be a person that might be more protective of their career in being able to retain it and hold on to that position more so than the average person. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, and also it could be the person might also be bringing a lot of protective energy into elderly people as well, since we are talking about the 10th house in astrology, which corresponds again with Capricorn and can be associated with older people. If you have grandparents or older friends that are prominent in your life, you might give them a lot of protective energy. And I mean, say if this is an Aries, you might be a person that might want to get into a physical confrontation on their behalf if you feel they're unable to defend themselves. Even Pisces as well, even though Pisces is passive energy, Pisces energy can often manifest in fighting, really fighting for the weak or the passive or debilitated, the people that are not in a position that can fight for themselves. And also, too, you might bring a lot of protective energy to the dominant parent again, which is often the father. Now, Ceres in astrology can also be connected with clothing. Now, given that this is the 10th house in astrology, it might be where your clothing is such where you show a lot of responsibility. It might be tied into your, as far as your career goes. If you're like, in the military or something, you might be wearing your fatigues a lot when you're not even, on campus, when you're not at the military base or what have you, or you're not doing anything connected with the military. It might be something politically motivated. It could simply be where you wear a lot of clothing that's supporting your particular candidate that you're in favor of, that you're enamored with. And it could be also, again, connected with one's public image as well. You've heard about the expression, the clothes make the man, and it could be somebody that feels, well, I'm wearing this certain kind of clothing. That's how I want people to see me as a person. I mean, if it's somebody, say if this is in Virgo, it could be a person that might dresses very meticulously to let people know, or at least give the impression that they're very neat and they're clean and they're organized in terms of who they are as a person, and very even professional. Capricorn could be a little bit more professional though, and I would say anyway. But Ceres in astrology can also be associated with what one may obliterate to restore what one previously had. Now, as an example, since this is the 10th house, it could be where one may simply eradicate their career ambitions in order to restore a connection with the dominant parent, which is often the father, because sometimes career matters can dominate others' existence, and sometimes we lose touch with certain connections in one's life. In some cases, it may go the other way. I mean, it could be something where the dominant parent connection might be eliminated in order to restore one's career. If the dominant parent is monopolizing the person's life, and say if this is like in Leo, for example, a very domineering sign, it could be where you might have a situation where the dominant parent was really very domineering and monopolizing the person's existence, and the person was not able to pursue maybe a Leo career, such as the cardiology or something with with sports or something associated working with children, or or entertainment, the arts, acting, something like that. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.